Good morning, Chainbreakers. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Chainbreakers. It is Saturday, July the 20th, 2019, and I want to welcome you to the next day of the rest of your life. This is going to be a fantastic day because I choose it to be so. I want to thank you all for coming in and watching this today, being a very, very big part of this. And we're going to have a great session today as we start talking about becoming a better you and bettering your life in the process. I've had a lot of questions kind of happen in the last week about this group, about hashtag Uplift and Rise, and about Chainbreakers 365. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit and what kind of came behind it and where I see this kind of going and what I'd like to be able to do with this group a little bit. So just before we get into it too much, let me introduce myself. I am Brad Smith. I am your host for Chainbreakers 365 Live and the creator of hashtag Uplift and Rise. And it is my pleasure to have you part of this group and a fan of Chainbreakers 365 as well. I just want to thank you for being here. This group has meant so much to me in not just now, 2 months, and what we've accomplished in that time. This group has already over 1,100 members, quickly growing, heading at 1,200. We've got almost 200 people that have liked the page over on Chainbreakers 365, and what just continues to happen is mind-blowing. So I want to talk about that a little bit, what kind of came behind it. So hashtag Uplift and Rise came to me as this epiphany of what I perceived was God speaking to me. And there are times in my life that I have had been on top, had a lot of things going my way, just really been making a very significant income, really pouring into my family. And then there have been times where I totally had the rug jerked out from under me, where it was a struggle to go on from day to day to day to day. There were times where I was digging through couches and under the seats in my car just to be able to get enough gas to get to work. There were days that I would go to Walmart at 2 o'clock in the morning with WIC coupons to be able to have food for my children. They were not exciting times in my life, but every single time I've been through that, I was able to be the phoenix, as it were, and rise from the ashes and pull myself back to not only a very comfortable living, but one that a lot of people would say is a successful life. Through the last process and the last cycle that I went through in that, I came back to the point where I was living making a very strong income and was doing very well for myself. And what I could only see was getting my life set to get me through retirement, was to having that cushion to be able to pay for my life in retirement. And as far as I was concerned, God spoke to me. And what I heard was, you're living small. You're living small. And I kept hearing that, you're living small, again and again and again and again. We were put on this life for 2 different reasons. One, the main point was to love God, to absolutely love God. And the second one was to love people. And that's our 2 real missions in life. As parents, many of you who are parents will know that with your children, there isn't anything that you wouldn't warmly give to them. when you knew that they truly appreciated it. And God is the same way with us. He has plans for you to have an abundant life, to give you all of the hopes and dreams. Now, don't get me wrong. God is not Santa Claus. Jesus is not Santa Claus. God never made, and you've heard me say this before, God never made a table. God never made a chair. God gave you a tree. God didn't give you the boat, but he gave you the wind to raise your sails and move you through life. He will give you the things that you need to live that life abundant. The analogy of the giving of the talents can be taken not only in the fact that that was a form of money back then, but God gives you the talent to achieve what it is that you need to be able to really do to achieve your life and your life more abundantly. So hashtag Uplift and Rise came out of that. Hashtag Uplift and Rise was really to uplift others, and in our efforts to uplift others, we ourselves rise to a higher level. We ourselves grow as people. We ourselves are fulfilling the call that God has on our life to love God and love people. And then with that, I was still hearing, regardless of all the fantastic things that this group started doing, and the comments about how meaningful it was, and it was speaking to people at the right time. The next one really truly was the fact that there wasn't enough, that people were shackled or chained, as you were, by things that kept them small, that kept them from living the life that God has planned for them. By living that abundant plan and living in a world where we are fully open and able to receive everything that God has planned for us, because we play small, because we've had those lies all of our life that keep us who we are. Maybe it was fulfilling our parents' plan for us instead of living the desires and the plans that we wanted out of life. Maybe it's that we believe that we're not enough, that you don't deserve to be able to live that successful life, that you don't deserve to be able to receive. How good are you at receiving a compliment? Somebody stop and tell you how nice you look, and it's, oh, well, this old dress, or, well, my hair, I haven't had anything really done. No, thank you. Thank you is the response. Receive those compliments. Receive that good stuff that comes to you when it comes. We need to start taking all of that negative thought, all of those negative talk that goes on in our minds, and realize that what we're really doing is creating our own reality. We are keeping ourselves short of what God wants us to do because we're living in the negativity. It has been really hot in the Midwest this last week. And I've heard people observe, I've been part of it, wow, it's really hot outside. Or, wow, the difference in temperature between the shade and out in the sun it's got to be 10, 15 degrees. Observation is okay. But I've heard other people go on and on and on complaining about the heat, complaining about the cold in the winter. I would much rather have the heat. I don't know about you. But complaining. I stopped to get food the other day, and in the time that I was getting food, the people working in the restaurant complained about the weather. One person complained about the weather 6 times in the short time I was in this restaurant. Adversity hits every single one of us. Adversity will strike even the most successful people, but adversity will live with those who lack. Adversity will live with those that live in the negative. So it's important for us to take control of all of our thoughts, to keep breaking off those chains. It has to become a habit. We're here to break off the chains that the enemy has put there that keep us from living the abundant life that God wants us to live out his full purpose in life. So breaking off the chains is where the name Chainbreakers came from. 365 comes from the fact that it is an every single day habit. Taking control of our thoughts, taking control of our emotions, taking control of our decisions. And a decision not to do anything is a decision. And controlling and moving positively in life, getting out of the negative and living in the positive. So that's where the name Chainbreakers 365 comes from as well. So I give about a 5-minute motivational thought for the day in what I call a Chainbreakers 365 moment every Monday through Friday at 7:30 in the morning for about 5 minutes long. Okay, so that's Eastern time. So please join me for your little motivational pick-me-up as you head off to work that day. Chainbreakers 365 live here on Saturday is really kind of designed to take a deep look into what we can do to really keep moving our lives forward. So one way that we can keep doing that is living a life more abundantly and living outside of ourselves. So what I said a second ago in the fact that our call by God was to not only love God, but love people as well. I want to tell you about a story that just happened a couple of days ago right here on hashtag Uplift and Rise. A guy by the name of Nate Hendricks asked for thoughts and prayers and support because he had to put down his beloved pet of 15 years. And he was really struggling with that. And in a short period of time, 78 people reacted with loves, with likes, with sad faces, reacted to him. And another 48 people commented on his post for losing his dog. Nate got back on there, and I want to read you what he wrote. Nate says, "Thank you all. You guys don't understand how much this means to me. It's truly awe-inspiring to know that people that I don't even know are so willing to open their hearts to me. I am very grateful. This group has helped me so much." These are the kinds of just inspiring types of things where people have been fed into again and again and again. Well, I talked about the other day, briefly on Thursday, that I wanted to do something for people that are in this group or family of this group and really touch them in another manner. So frequently people have been on here talking about the problems going on in their lives, and people are there with prayers and support and that type thing. I want to take this to another level. So this week, I went out and secured a P.O. box. So you can now find Chainbreakers 365 at P.O. Box 203, Covington, Indiana. And I'm going to type this in the comments here. P.O. Box 203, Covington, Indiana 47932. And I want you to turn around and make note of this P.O. box because I'm going to ask you to do something. What I'd like you to do, we have several people, and I said 3 on Thursday, and this list grew. We have several people that are either directly in this group or are children of people in this group that are currently struggling with cancer. So here are the names. And if any of you are in front of a computer and can add in, I would love you to be able to please type these names in for me so I can keep going on with this, because this will take a while otherwise. But Sharon Hayden, Hayden, Arlen Becker, who is daily postings on here and kind of keeps people up to date with where he's at, as well as he gives a little quote or poem or uplifting thought for the day. A wonderful, wonderful heart. He's currently also going through some cancer. Sharon, by the way, just found out she has peritoneal cancer. But Arlen, a few weeks ago, had his surgery canceled on him, and he really had to step back. He's been going through a lot of therapy ever since, and now he's building himself back up stronger. They've rescheduled his surgery for this coming August 1st. And Arlen, my prayers and thoughts and support are totally with you. But another member, Mary Beth McCoy, or Brant McCoy. She's from Danville, Illinois originally. Mary Beth Brant, she grew up. She's now Mary Beth Brant McCoy. Has a daughter, Nicole Curington. Nicole is a young mother, has several young children of her own, and she's going through cancer herself. She's currently down in Houston. She's had to move so she could be close, or get an apartment so she could be closer to where she's being treated. And her family is kind of living a very strange split life right now. But two other people, Chelsea Redwine has been going through cancer for some time now. And I will put these in. Nobody else seems to be close enough to a computer to do this. But Vicki Turner, who's also been going through some cancer, apparently has taken a turn back. And everybody is going through these struggles right now. So there's 5 people. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I want to not only support these people here, but I want to go one step farther. I'm going to ask you to go to the store and get some cards, or make sure that you write personal notes, put them in an envelope, and we'll be the collection point. Send those to us at Chainbreakers 365, P.O. Box 203, Covington, Indiana. And we will be 47932, and we will be that collection point. Thank you, Patty. Patty just gave us the name of David Brown as well. I'm assuming David's also going through this. I don't know David's story, but is also going through this. So send that to us, Chainbreakers 365 at P.O. Box 203, Covington, Indiana, 47932, and we'll be the collection point. Down in the bottom left corner on the envelope, I'm not going to open and read all these to figure out who to give them to. Write their names down in the bottom left corner, and we will separate them and send them on to these people. I want to overwhelm them with love and support. If people getting online and giving support online to Nate can mean so much for what he's going through with the loss of his 15-year-old pet dog, how much do you think it's going to mean to receive this huge stack of cards from people they don't even know, giving their love and their prayers and support for what the struggles that they're going through? People that are going through these enormous diseases and struggles in life, nothing means more than love, support, and hope and prayer. I want to give them that love and support and hope by sending these cards on to them from this amazing, amazing group. So if you will, please join with me and send these cards in to P.O. Box 203, Covington, Indiana, 47932, and we will distribute these out. And I'll kind of let you know what's going on here as well. So I want to thank you all for being here today and being part of this. I do want to get and talk about something that happened with me this week. And I did talk about it a little bit, I think, on Thursday. But this is what happens when you can't take control of your environment. Very, very, very hot day on Thursday. Started off still with the end of storms in our area that we're going through. So we dealt with a lot of rainstorms, very, very heavy. And could have easily been a day that you let the weather impact you and let your environment impact you and go on. My second visit today of that day was supposed to have been a sales presentation that the key decision maker I needed to talk to didn't show. And so everything on top of that really could have knocked me completely out. But I had decided early that morning that this was going to be a fantastic day. I was going to keep positive. I was going to stay positive. I was going to keep going through the day. And sure enough, sales started happening. And dealerships started taking on training and moving forward. Every place I visited, I made a decision to leave that place and those people better than I found them. And I was rewarded immensely. That was the single most productive sales day I have ever had in my life. I had, let me think, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different clients bought things from me that day. 9 bought things, and many of them multiple things from me that day. And it was, in my opinion, it was God's blessing because I chose to love people, be positive, and have a positive day. You can do this too. I challenge you to do this. And we're going to keep talking about this as we continue to go on. Keep people in your prayers. Keep Sharon Hayden, Arlen Becker, Nicole Currington, Vicki Turner, and Chelsea Redwine, and David Brown. Keep these people in your prayers. Send these on in. And I want to thank you for being here, being part of this. I hope to make a fantastic impact on these people's lives, and I want you to help join me in doing it. Thank you so much for being here. Chainbreakers 365 comes from my heart and comes to you. I hope you found something useful in this today, and we'll see you next week for Chainbreakers 365. But join us Monday through Friday for about a 5-minute motivational piece at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Chainbreakers 365 moments. Thank you so much, folks, and have an awesome and amazing day. I will put these names in the comments. Thanks again. Bye.